In politics tonight, assessing President Trump's first 100 days in office, it has certainly been eventful. A record number of executive orders, creative deportation efforts, a wild ride, let's say, for investors on Wall Street. Joining us now to share her thoughts is veteran political analyst Linda Schatt, who served in the Carter White House. Linda, glad to see you. Thank you for doing this. Let's start with Mr. Trump's approval numbers. I saw a new Washington Post, ABC News Ipsos poll that had the number at about 45%, but I've seen others that were even lower than that.
That's right. If you take the polls together, he is at the lowest rate at this point in a presidency than any president's been in modern times since they've been polling. And I think there are a couple of reasons for that. We tend to look at the extremes. So if you are listening to Fox News and news from the right, you believe that Donald Trump is unleashing American greatness. And if you look at the left, the extreme left, MSNBC, you believe that he is an unconstitutional autocrat who's brought about chaos and cruelty. But the truth is somewhere in the middle.
That generally is. Now, there has been great focus by the administration at reducing the size of the government, identifying waste. The efforts resulted in some legal challenges, but at the same time, doesn't this president have to do something different than the way things have been done previously to change the government's footing? It's not really been on fiscal solid ground and headed in the wrong direction for a long time.
Well, everyone wants to get rid of fraud and waste in the government, and there have been other efforts to do it. I think this time around, that group in the middle that are having a little bit of trouble with what President Trump is doing are concerned that he's using a chainsaw, not a scalpel, and that he's eliminating full departments and offices that were designed to support some of the things that American people want: food safety, medical research, that type of thing.
Certainly. How do you view the other really controversial thing, the deportation of migrants to prisons in other countries without a trial?
Well, I believe that his immigration promise is the first one that he focused on, and he promised to round up criminals and send them out of the U.S., and that they have done and turned it into a spectacle, showing people in white uniforms on their knees and then being put on a plane and sent to a prison in another country. I think, again, what that middle, that is the people who don't love him and don't hate him, they're concerned about the legality of some of what is happening, the cruelty of sending a 2-year-old or a 4-year-old back to a country they've never known, even one of them having cancer. So I think there is a concern, the means of the way that he's doing this. People agree with the goal on immigration. I think some people are concerned about the means.
Briefly, Linda, do you think that the Supreme Court as constituted will support many of the president's actions that are being challenged?
That is a good question because, you know, FDR, and that's where we get the idea of the 100 days, FDR chose to get his changes through Congress, not by executive order. And so now we're going to see the Supreme Court decide if the president has the power to do some of the things that he's trying to do by executive order, and if some of those things are constitutional. I believe that it'll be a mixed bag, and that the Supreme Court will support him where they can, and where they believe it's unconstitutional, they will tell him that it is.
This is a conversation that will continue. Veteran political analyst Linda Schatt, thanks so much for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you.